Hello everyone, welcome to Nate's favorite deck building games, and this time we take a look here at another of the Marvel Legendary sets, Legendary Venom. Now this is kind of a landmark moment for Nate's favorite deck building games, because this is actually going to be the last time that I'm covering anything from Marvel Legendary. I will be covering more Legendary Encounters stuff when I finally get a chance to get to things like Alien, Predator, or Firefly, but when it comes to regular Legendary, this will be it. Basically, my wife and I tend to like to play deck building games together, but frankly, the Marvel deck building game has gotten very unwieldy and huge, and while I really love the complexity of it, it's not something we really break out and play very often anymore, and quite frankly, space is a bit at a premium here. So of all the different deck building games that we play, this is one that is going to be set aside. I've actually made a deal with a gentleman, I believe, down in Florida, and he will be picking up all the Legendary stuff for me. So Johnny, I hope you enjoy the Legendary set, so to speak, here, of all these retail sets that have been released thus far. And we're going to take a look here at one last expansion before we let Legendary go. So, we're looking here at Legendary Venom. It's another small expansion, not based on the film like Spider-Man Homecoming, but based on comic characters, based on the Poison storyline, the Life Foundation, the Venomverse stuff, that sort of thing. A little bit of Maximum Carnage thrown in as well. Of course, we'll have our little rule sheet that's going to give us information about all the different keywords and new abilities within this set. And this is a very heavily thematic set, very much like something like Ant-Man. So we'll start out, as always, with a small set with 4 new schemes. Our new schemes this time are Symbiotic Absorption, Invasion of the Venom Symbiotes, Maximum Carnage, and Paralyzing Venom. Now, as usual, we have 2 different new masterminds here, both of which are double-sided, so that we have an epic version on one side and a regular version on the other. This is hybrid. This is when the Life Foundation symbiotes all combine together, sort of Voltron style. We have a regular version of hybrid and the epic version on the back. And then, of course, the 4 mastermind tactics. We then also have another combined baddie, Poison Thanos. Yes, Thanos with a poison symbiote, basically wreaking havoc out there. If you thought Thanos was bad, try this. Just give him the Affinity Gauntlet and a poison and kiss the galaxy goodbye, right? Poison Thanos, right? Mastermind and epic mastermind version, and our 4 mastermind tactics. We then have 2 different villain groups of 8 villain cards each, as usual. We have the Poisons, which is basically things like Poison Spider-Man, Poison Dr. Octopus, Poison Scarlet Witch. It's poisons having affected existing characters. Then we have the Life Foundation. It's various symbiotes and whatnot, along with Dr. Carlton Drake, the guy that founded the thing. So 2 groups of villains there. Then we have 5 heroes, all of which have 14 cards as usual. We have Venom, of course, right? How can you not have Venom in a set named Venom? Carnage, as one would probably expect. Then we have Venom Rocket. Yes, Rocket Raccoon with the Venom symbiote pulled from an alternate dimension. Pulled by whom? Venomized Doctor Strange in the Venomverse storyline. And then we have, also pulled from another dimension, Venom Pool. Yes, Deadpool with a Venom symbiote as well. Now, as far as new and returning important mechanics, we have a return, thanks to Venom Pool, right, of something we saw back in the Deadpool expansion, which is excessive violence. Again, the excessive violence is the idea that at some point, once per turn, you could attack a villain or attack, a mastermind, and use one more attack than is actually necessary. And when you do so, you're able to trigger any excessive violence abilities on any cards that you have played that turn. You can only do it once, but it's kind of a cool thing to get some more abilities out of basically just paying 1 extra attack at 1 point, which is not a very high cost at all. We then have a new keyword, Digest, which usually is followed by a number. Digest basically means if you've got that number of cards, like in this case Digest 2, so 2 cards in your victory pile, you get that Digest ability. Not to be outdone, Venom Pool also tosses in here Indigestion. So if you can't do the Digest ability, and yes, that's the one you need to do, you can't choose between them. If you can't do the regular Digest ability, essentially that check fails, then you can do the Indigestion ability. But you can't just choose Indigestion if you meet the criteria for Digest. So in this case, Basically, if you look at all the text, digest 2, so if you have 2 cards in your victory pile, you get +2 attack. Indigestion, if you don't have 2 cards in your victory pile, rescue a bystander. And then underneath, just a regular combo, strength. Instead, you get both. Another new mechanic is the symbiote bonds. Symbiote bond basically takes a card and sticks it underneath another card, so that it essentially is both cards at the same time. So you would have the attack here of both, the victory points of both, the text of both, and so on. And the idea would be that you have to basically fight them for that total of attack between the two when you fight them. And when you defeat them, you're only defeating one of them. So one of them goes away, the other one stays in play, but you do rescue any bystanders underneath. You do get to choose which one goes out of play into your victory pile and which one does not. And you do need to be wary of the fact that they both have different abilities, and if they have a fight ability, you are choosing which one you're going to have the fight ability from, depending on which one you choose to remove. So, kind of a cool thing to allow your enemies to stack, and many of them happen on ambushes. So in this case, reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it is a villain, symbiote bond with Riot. So connect to him, and then you fight that combined enemy, and if Riot is the one you choose to get rid of, fight KO one of your heroes. For what it's worth, if one of those escapes, then it does count only as one escape in most respects, but if both of them have an escape ability, yes, both of them trigger, which kind of sucks for you. But the whole KOing a hero thing or losing the bystanders, that kind of stuff, that's normal, and then once they're in the escape pile, they're considered 2 separate villains again. The poisons also have a cool effect. They're the special poison villains that have a special ability. Notice they've got an attack down here for you to go up against them, but they also have a value as if you're playing them. What is up with that? And they've got symbols up here, right, denoting what type of hero they could be. What the heck are we looking at? It's basically a villain you can acquire as a hero. Essentially, they all have some type of ability where, in this case, with Poison Dr. Octopus, right, this symbiote bonds with the villain in the bank, right? So if there's a villain in the bank, when this comes out, it attaches to that villain instead of taking up a space itself, okay? If already bonded or unable to bond, gain this as a hero instead, which means it goes into your discard pile to be shuffled in later. Then when you play it, you get an ability from playing, draw a card, and your 1 attack there. So say it comes out of your villain deck, and there's no one in the bank, okay? It can't bond, you get that as a hero, because that's what's in the text. Say that there is someone in the bank, it bonds to the one in the bank, and then when you attack and try to take it out, say you wind up defeating Poison Dr. Octopus, well, it was already bonded, so according to its text, it can still be brought in as a hero instead of going into your victory pile. So, a couple different cool ways to sort of turn villains into heroes, which is a mechanic we've seen a little bit in the series, but not all that much. So if you're into Legendary and you like the Venom characters, if you're a fan of sort of the broader Spider-Verse, in this case, the Venom-verse, then I think you'll definitely get a kick out of this because the thematic feel to a lot of the abilities does make sense very well with what we're seeing here. We've seen some sets where the abilities seem like they were just kind of trying to find a way to make something neat work with that set, and it felt kind of shoehorned in every once in a while. Not so much with this one. This one definitely feels as though they've thought through what they want to do with the poisons, with the symbiotes, how they want to make them work, and really do justice to the Venom character that's become so popular that he got his own freaking movie. Not to say it was a great movie, but he got his own movie. So, you know, there's that going for him. With that, we will wrap up this episode of Nate's Favorite Deck Building Games and our coverage of Marvel Legendary. Stay tuned, we still have more coverage of things like Ascension, Hero Realms, and so on, just not Legendary Marvel. Its day has passed for me. But thank you for sticking with me through all these episodes about it in the previous years.